Alright guys, so here we go one more time with another exciting lesson. This time around what we're going to be doing is taking a look at post, get, and forms. Logan's going to show you some neat little tricks on how we can take data and we can pass it from one page to another, along with a few other things as well. So with that, Logan, let's go ahead and show him some cool stuff.
Okay, and so what we're going to be doing is actually processing input that a user would give to a PHP script either through a link or like typing in data into a form. Now, let's see, you've probably seen links that where after the reference to a script or a file, they do question mark and then do a variable equals something.
Oh yeah, that's all those cryptic link-looking things that pop up all the time, and sometimes it's far worse than that. Sometimes I get like percent symbols and all sorts of real goofy things.
Yeah,
surely you guys out there know what I'm talking about. So break it down for us there.
Yeah, so what this is it's one method of giving data to a script. After the question mark, when the script runs, these actually get parsed into a certain array inside of PHP. That array is called $_get.
Interesting.
This array stores anything that's been given to the script after a question mark, basically.
So $get's like an array.
Yes, it's an array, and the elements are actually named, as in we did test equals 5, so there would be an element inside this array called test.
Ah, that makes sense.
Now, you can turn register globals on and get access to a variable called $test, but in this will always work.
That's
you
a
don't have to have that
way
turned on.
Yeah.
So this is what's going to hold that data we've sent to the script. So inside of PHP, let's go ahead and echo that back out just to verify. So I'm going to save the script as, let's say, var test. var.php.
Now, he's taken a very direct approach to this. For those of you guys that are complete beginners, he could have also just simply taken a variable and dumped that information into the variable and then echoed the variable out, if that kind of makes things a little bit easier for you guys to see.
So now we're echoing out that $_get. So whatever we set test to from the URL.
So now it becomes dynamic. He can change it, rerun it, and there it is.
Anything I type in, now PHP is aware of and can use.
Ah, this makes things very helpful.
So now you can actually work with data from that from the browser. This method is used more commonly from links that have to give information to a PHP script.
So whatever you put in there, it's going to be available inside that array. You can pull it out and utilize it. But let me ask you this. What happens if it's blank?
Right now, the PHP script wouldn't care. If you set it to blank, but it's just going to echo nothing.
Could that possibly get us in trouble later in code? I mean, would there ever be times we'd need to check to see if it was blank?
Right. If, say, someone was entering some information and some fields were required, and you wanted the script to be able to check and make sure, like you wouldn't have a script that's relying on them putting their phone number in, and then be able to just put nothing in. Or forget to put their email in if you need to get a hold of them.
Okay, so how could we check to see if it's blank?
Well, this is a variable, so we could do some tests on it. There's a function in PHP called strlen, and this function takes in a variable and it gives back the length of the string, meaning it counts the characters and gives you how many characters are in the string.
Now again, Logan's taken the very direct approach. For those of you out there that are complete beginners, Logan, go ahead and do me a favor, and right above that, just 2 lines, go ahead and use the $get, set that up into a variable.
So $var equals.
Exactly.
All right, $var equals. So let me move this out real quick.
What I'm wanting to do is have him just kind of take a detour just for a minute or two for you guys that are complete beginners and show you other ways that we can write this that may make a little bit more sense with the way the course material has been presented so far in this VTM and the last VTM.
Okay, so we're getting whatever they set test to. We're going to put that into $var.
Which of course we could have always said echo $var.
Right. So right here, this could be echo $var.
And then he's going to kill me, but I'm going to have him add another line then in between the two, and call this one $. Just give it something that represents a length, SSLEN or something. Or that's good. Equals. And now what I want him to do is actually go ahead and use string length function and feed it. He could feed it the $_get thing from above. Go ahead and copy and paste that just so that they see it.
So you could grab this because this has that data we're looking for stored in it.
Exactly. So we could paste that, and of course the $_get subtest is basically converted into whatever's being stored in it. Or he could simply put a variable inside that function as well.
Yep.
So go ahead and do that. There you go. So now he's sending string length var, and string length will then figure up how many characters are in var and put that back over into $len, and he's then going to echo $len out, or $length, $len.
Yeah, so
whatever.
we find the length, and then finally we store that in len, and then we echo len.
I'm just sorry to kind of take the long way around it, and no, I wouldn't do it like this, but I'm just kind of, I think it helps beginners.
You could bury it all inside of one echo or one if statement, but then you have stuff inside of parentheses, inside of more parentheses, and it can be confusing to look
for
at.
a beginner, that could be really confusing.
So let me save that out and see what it returns. So if we actually give it something like cat.
We have 3 characters in cat. We have 5 in Jayhawk.
So now you can see it.
And how many do we have in blank?
We have blank.
Ooh.
So that's the case we need to be looking for. Well, in a sense, we need to make sure that there are more than 0 characters.
So let me say something right here. You just said something that's really critical in a way to a new programmer. We need to check something.
Right.
So this kind of brings us back to the last lesson. We need to use an if statement to check the length of whatever's been sent in.
Right. So instead of immediately echoing len, or we could go a line above it, and instead of immediately echoing, we could do if $len, let's say, is
greater than 0.
Greater than 0.
Well, yeah, we'll start simple. And then we'll echo out the length of it.
Yeah, let me actually put that inside then.
And then we'll do an else, just so that we remind them about the last lesson, and we'll echo out that there's nothing there, something along those lines. Poor guy has to type and talk. What a tough job.
Actually, I'm not talking, so I should be able to type, which is weird. Error, no input.
Napuo input. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this and see what we got now.
So now we go and we just refresh this, no input.
But
then if we do put anything, even one letter, we get the length back from that one letter.
Okay, very cool.
So now we can test and make sure that they, say, didn't leave a field blank.
All right, very cool.
So with that, that's...
So now we see that we can actually retrieve data that comes in on a... Well, let me ask you this real quick. How would there be multiple pieces of data in the link?
From that, you can use the ampersand. After you say test equals A, we could say and, let's say, test, or var2 equals Jayhawk.
See, I told you they used all these funky symbols up there.
So it's probably kind of hard to see, but and symbol, and then the next variable we're going to have, what it equals. Now,
so go ahead and, if you could, real quick, go ahead and in the code show us the use of both of those.
All right, if we wanted to actually use that,
you could write a real quick program that says that the first one is equal to so many characters, and the second one is equal to so many characters.
Okay. So to do that, we would need to. So you want to just write it above the if, or?
Sure, however you want to do it.
All right. So first,
poor guy's being put on the spot.
So I'm not going to make multiple versions of var. I'm just going to keep resetting it. So after the first one, so we're getting the length of that test variable that we already had, and let's go and copy this line out real quick.
Yeah, we don't even need an if for this. We're just going to simply echo out
length, and then we want to get that other variable. So we're going to do this over again. Of course, there's more efficient ways of doing this, but this is just to show both values and how you get to a different value.
So go ahead and kill the big if statement down there.
Okay. Well, I'll be rewriting that in a second because we're going to actually use it to test. So here's the cool thing. Since we are going to be using this later in the script, but we don't want to work with it now, we can use exit to terminate the script at this point.
Absolutely.
It's telling it just stop the script here, ignore everything after it.
Okay. So right now what we should get is basically we're going to be taking a look at test, but we need to change that second test right there
to var2, where I named it var2 equals whatever. And that's going to be now, that'll be another element inside this $get array.
Okay, so we're going to be echoing out the length of the first one, and then we're going to be echoing out the length of the second one. And we probably need to have some sort of BR in there or something.
Line, so let me just put this in here, like such. And echo out a BR.
Cool.
So, refresh this. So, okay, yeah, I hit refresh and it cleared what I had written. So,
but that's a really good example because look at the second one. There is no second one at that time.
Yeah, there wasn't even a variable, so of course
it's
there's going to be nothing in it. var2 equals.
So 1 and 5.
Or if you did So whatever he changes. So now we're getting to where we actually write fully dynamic scripts based on input.
3 and 5.